Hello and welcome back to the Trinity Stamps YouTube channel. My name is Terry and I am so excited to be back on the channel today sharing a slimline card that I created using the Doodle card die set. So let's get started. Okay, so here's a look at the die set. This one is called Doodle card and it comes with a lot of accessory pieces that I did not use on my card. So you do have a lot of options with this set. If you follow us on Facebook or on Instagram, you'll see a lot of our creative team members samples of the card, and there are some really cute ones. Be sure to check that out if you haven't yet. Okay, so let's get started. Okay, so to start off, I'm using white colored cardstock, and I'm using an ink pad in the color Merlot. Usually, if I don't have the color cardstock that I'm looking for, I just grab an ink pad and swipe it onto my white cardstock. I don't have a lot of colored cardstocks. This card, I want it a little bit on the desaturated side. So using a few different color ink pads, I went ahead and swiped it on white color cardstock to create my own color cardstock, if that makes sense. So I went ahead and repeated the process, and I selected 5 ink pads to create color cardstocks with. And now going in with each die pieces, I am selecting the colors that I want to coordinate with the die cut. And I'm taping that down using a low tack tape before running it through my die cutting machine. Okay, so with now everything cut out, I am going to put it all together. I also wanted to mention that I did cut some of the window panels out of vellum. I wanted to create a look of glass, and I thought vellum was the perfect material for that. So here I am using liquid adhesive, and I'm just gluing everything in place. And like I mentioned earlier, that there's so many additional accessory pieces that you can use for the die cut itself, but I wanted a more traditional look of a car. So I'm just putting everything together here, and it's really easy to do. You can't really go wrong with this. Okay, so now to create the actual scene of the slimline card. To create the look of the road, I am going in with stitch strip slimline dies, and I'm selecting 2 of the wafer dies here, and I'm going to run the larger rectangle out of black colored cardstock and the slimmer one out of white cardstock. Then going in with my scissors, I'm going to go ahead and snip the white colored cardstock in quarters. Now using liquid adhesive, I'm going to apply that to the center of the black cardstock, creating dash lines as if it were dash lines on the road. And I went ahead and snipped off whatever was hanging off. Okay, so for my Doodle car, I really wanted to have a little driver. So I chose the Dust Bunnies stamp set, and I selected one of the smaller images and stamped that out onto white color cardstock. And I'm going in with my Copic markers and I'm coloring the images very simple. I only need one, but I stamped it off a few times just to make sure I got a good impression on each one. And after I was done coloring the image, I went in with the coordinating dies and ran that through my die cutting machine. Before I adhered the Dust Bunny into the Doodle car, I did trim off the base of the stamp. And I also added white highlights with a gel pen. Okay, so now back to the scene building. Now I'm going in with the Great Outdoors Border and Builders die set. Off screen, I went ahead and ran that out of color cardstock. And here you can see all the pieces that I will be using today on the slimline card. To add some dimension onto the individual die cut pieces, I'm going in with my blending buddy and some ink pads, and I'm blending some ink onto the die cuts to create some sort of interest and texture. So starting off with a green color ink, I am inking that onto the hillside that I cut out of green cardstock, and I'm also going to do that onto the grass as well as the trees. Okay, so to create the actual slimline card panel, or card base, I should say, I'm going in with white color cardstock, and I'm using the modern embossed frame panel, and I'm running that through my die cutting machine. This part is just giving me a guide so I can place all of my scene building pieces on top of that. But before I put everything on top of the base here, I am going to add some clouds onto the background. So using any cloud stencil that you have on hand and a blue color ink, and of course the blue blending buddy, I'm going in and blending out a cloud scene. And I also wanted to keep the side of the edges on each die cut pieces to match. So now I'm going in and using the modern embossed frame panel, and I'm running that over each of the Great Outdoors border and builder die pieces that we created earlier. So you can see the edges matches up with the background panel. I'm not sure if you can see it, but the edges are embossed. So now using liquid adhesive, I am adhering everything down to the background panel. Okay, so now for the sentiment. I selected 2 sentiments from the Simply Sentimental Hello stamp set, and I stamped that using a black ink onto my card panel. I then popped on my Doodle card with foam squares, add a little bit of an angle to create some interest and some playfulness onto the card panel. And of course, I use a white gel pen to add highlights and details throughout the card panel. And to finish it off, I adhered it to a top folding card base in the color white. And that completes my card. I hope you enjoyed this tutorial and found some inspiration and get crafty in your craft space. Don't forget to hit the thumbs up button and like this video, and also follow us for more tutorial videos. Okay, until next time, I hope you have a great day. Bye bye.